tutoring program that has been, this is going in the fourth year. I sent the third year last class, but going into the fourth year, and we tutor kids from first grade to eighth grade. It's in the elementary school on the K4 side of the building, and it's back in the cafeteria. We do it 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, not on Friday. And we are trying to reach the kids that are just struggling a little bit. Maybe when you were younger and you were in school, there was a subject that you had a hard time with. And you know, we're hoping that maybe the tutors, young tutors like you guys, don't have that much time gap in thinking back to when you were in fourth grade and thinking about what you were struggling with. So what we'd like to do is recruit you for tutorers. And we have 5th through 8th grade. They come at 2:25 and they stop being tutored at 3:45. And then the 1st through 4th grade comes in at 3:45 and they stay until 5. Now the 5 through 8 group, pretty much we work on homework. There's still a few of them that are having problems with reading and math. A lot of the kids, especially I think it's the 5th and 6th grade, they have a weekly math paper that they work on, but fortunately the teacher sends us a little key so that we know whether we are getting them going in the right direction on their work. The 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders, like I said, come at 3:45 when they're out of school. They stay till 5 o'clock. This year we're doing something a little bit different. We are having 1st and 3rd grade on Mondays and Wednesdays, and 2nd and 4th grade on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're doing this to try to get more one-on-one. And if you do decide to be a tutor, we'd love to have you work with the same person over and over, and you can be, you know, the person that they look up to. You know, we don't know what kind of home life they have, but we know that you could be a positive effect on these kids because you've got that drive to go to school and a drive to learn. A lot of these kids aren't taught the importance of an education at home. And, you know, having a young person that's not that much older than they are, but they've already been through this, you know, would really mean a big difference to these kids. So we're hoping that you would join us. Like I said, I am trying to do something a little bit different this year. This is a sample of what a first grade folder would be. You would get one for every student. The work is going to be in every folder. And this is an exercise with sight words. So these words are all cut up and put into this envelope. For the first week or two, we're going to work on sight words, writing sentences, working on capitalization, punctuation, learning to spell the word, learning to know what the word means by writing sentences. So these words, they'll be able to mix them all up and make all kinds of sentences of them. And then there are going to be sheets in here that they can write their sentences on. Okay? Also, these are going to be reading comprehension sheets. I am trying to get it so that we'll be able to use this curriculum for a few more years and not have to do it over and over because copying is expensive and really time, it takes a lot of time. So if you chose to do the fair, and I kind of put that one first because I thought everybody had gone to the Great Dark County Fair. So what I want you to do is let them read this. If they're having trouble with a word, let them struggle a little bit, but help them sound it out. You know, just don't automatically tell them the word, and I forgot to tell the kids this morning that. But it's really important that they try to put those letters together and get that word worked out in their mind. They're not going to be working on or writing on these sheets. There's going to be notebook paper in here for them to write on, okay? And there again, you're going to try to work on writing their letters the correct way and the punctuation, capitalization, everything. That would be good. I'm going to keep, I don't want them to just run through these really fast. That, you know, I want them to answer questions. You could even think of other questions that they have down here, but make sure that they understand what they're reading. It's one thing being able to read something, but to remember what you read is a completely different thing. If the lesson has something that they do need a piece of paper, I will have that in the little pocket so that you will know that goes with this lesson, because this is something that you have to color on. Also in this booklet, there are going to be sheets like this that they will use a marker on and be able to reuse these sheets. There'll be filler sheets back here. If you ever need any, there'll be more sheets in the back. Okay? There will also be math papers in here. There again, we don't want them to write on these. We like them to write the problems out either on a whiteboard or a piece of paper and solve them themselves. These are going to be sheets that they can write on if there's extra time and they're really energetic that day and you don't know what to do with them. There are always sheets in the back. This notebook will be for every student, and obviously every grade is going to be a little bit different, but I finally completed first grade this morning, and I have been working on this for I don't know how many hours.
All summer.
All summer, yes. Fifth grade, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth, I will have papers for them to read and do comprehension also, and they will look more like this. There again, you know, if you can, this is a fifth grade one, if you can ask these questions or have them write something or, you know, give you a synopsis of what the story was about, anything to get those brains motivated towards getting the words right, getting them down in the correct order, spelled right, punctuation, anything that you can think of. We just really appreciate that. They do have math. Most of them will have them, well actually I think it was only fifth and sixth had math papers every week. The math teachers always gave us a sheet so that we would know the answers. We do have some, you know, if you need to refresh, there are books back there that can help you, or we actually this year are gonna have Mrs. Kuntz, a retired math teacher. So we are going to have her available, which is the first time we've ever had a math teacher. So this is really good. We'd love to have you join us. If you decide to, when you come to the school, you come in the front door, turn to the side that's to the left, that's the main office. Just sign in, there's a piece of paper for Empowering Darke County Youth. They'll give you a badge to wear, and then we are back in the cafeteria. We're gonna have you sign in on a piece of paper. It will have tutors down there, so you'll know where it is. Make sure you sign your names and get clocked in so that you get credit for the volunteer hours. There will be other tutors there. Mr. Robinson brought up something today that I hadn't thought about. If there is ever a discipline problem, you do not have to handle it. You bring that problem to us. Mr. Robinson, Jeanette will be there. There's another person called Chelsea. She will be there. You do not have to put up with somebody that's misbehaving. Probably at your home, you have a little one that probably gives you a lot of opportunity to do discipline, right? Anyway, that is that's not your responsibility; it's ours. Let's see. I'm trying to think of anything that I can that I don't have. We'll have extra sheets if there's anything that they are having trouble with. We do have a lot of curriculum already set up. Jeanette does a lot of games with the 5 through 8 kids they'll do their math terms or whatever, multiplication, division, algebra, whatever. So she is a little bit more creative. It's just not all book work. If you think you'd like to work with the 5th through 8th graders, but not the 1st through 4th, that's fine. It is your choice. We appreciate you just being there. And the flip side too is if you want to work with just the younger ones and not the older ones, you can just come at, I probably could get there at 3:40 instead of 3:45. The buses are in the back of the building, and they're usually gone a little after 4. So those kids in 5 through 8 will be there 15 minutes alone before they get picked up. Their parents have to come in and sign them out before they can leave.
Personal story.
Oh yes. Every time we go and speak, all last year, because last year was really my first full-time year with Mr. Robinson, he always had these cool stories, and I never had any stories. And it's like, okay, here I am sitting here, I'm telling them about curriculum, but I have no stories. So last year, at the end of the year, well, I'm gonna back up. In the beginning of last year, this grandmother called me at home and talked to me about her grandson that she was raising. And she told me a little bit about the family problems and about, you know, a few things, and wanted to know if he could join our group, and I said, sure, you know. He was just a neat kid, very quiet, very cooperative. Well, the last few weeks of school, and maybe it was the next to last week of school, I was sharpening pencils, getting ready for the next group to come in, and I was sitting at a table. He didn't say anything, and he just came down and he sat next to me, and he just took this paper and he just went, never looked at me or anything, he just put that paper over there. And I looked down and it said, he has gone from a D- to a B+ in math. And I said, man, B+, that's almost an A, you know, congratulations. He was as proud as could be. Never verbally told me, he just shoved that paper over. So now I have some stories, my own stories, I don't have to rely on Mr. Robinson's stories. They're fun to work with, they are energetic, but I think you'll find it worthwhile and rewarding if you care to give us any of your time. We'd love to have you do. Did I forget anything?
At the same time, if you work with a kid and you just don't like them, we can trade it out. Or if they're working on something that's too hard, like some of the core math, I don't know it, I'm too old for it. I trade them off to somebody who's done core math. I'll go work on something else. Those are always options. I have a couple of kids I can't stand. We just don't mesh. And that's totally fine. You don't have to work with them. It's supposed to be easy on everybody, and if you don't like the kid probably doesn't like you either. So trade them out. We'll give them to somebody that does, and that's fine.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for letting me take time out of your class